Okay, kia ora and good evening everybody. On behalf of the Global Partnerships team and the Auckland Conversations team, I bid you a warm evening and a warm welcome to this evening's Auckland Conversations. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Ludo Campbell Reid. I'm the General Manager of the Auckland Design Office, and it's my great pleasure and privilege to be tonight's MC. This evening is about engagement, excitement, inspiration, and tonight's conversations are about trying to get out into the public domain, having conversations with Aucklanders about matters and issues that are affecting the city. Tonight's guest has flown in all the way from New York, Edith, and we're going to look forward to introducing her to you in a few minutes. And it's great to have you, Edith, here. Thank you for making the trip. I know you're a busy lady. So Edith will talk to us about the challenges facing New York, particularly Manhattan, where she's the Director of Planning. But tonight's really also about understanding the opportunities and issues that are facing Auckland, and to see whether there are similarities and things that we can draw from those cities and to make some learnings in terms of moving forward. So to all of you tonight, thank you for turning up. There's about 800 of you here this evening, which is fantastic, and it's just great to have the conversation happening across the region. It's great to be engaging with the community of Auckland. So tonight we're going to be engaging in a range of ways. We'll be joined with a small panel discussion at the end of Edith's presentation. So before we get into that, I'd like to just extend a very warm welcome to two very cool people. One is to John Duguid, who's General Manager of the Plans and Places Department. John's going to be joining me as a panel discussion a bit later on. And also to Adrian Young-Cooper. Adrian is Director on the Hobsonville Land Company currently, and doing some incredible things with the Crown. So they'll be joining us up on stage with Edith to talk a little bit about the challenges and opportunities facing Auckland. Before we move on, I just want to make a very big thanks to the councillors who've turned up today and local board members, particularly Councillor Chris Darby, who's the chair of the Planning Committee, but also to Pippa Coombe from the Waitemata Local Board, but also Councillor Denise Lee, who's going to be giving the vote of thanks towards the end of the evening. So thank you for turning up and being part of this conversation. It's really important that you do, and thank you for your support and ongoing support. So just a few housekeeping issues before we get cracking. As I said, I'm sort of the hors d'oeuvre and Edith is the main course. In the unlikely event of an emergency, an alarm will sound and will be directed out of the building by the ushers. The bathrooms are located near the bar to the back of the auditorium, which is on the left as you leave the room. And finally, please could you turn all your mobile phones off so we don't get interference with the broadcasting, because we're actually broadcasting this live, not sure to who, but to the world. And it's really a big part of the New Auckland Conversations program, whereby we are videoing and filming these conversations, and they are available live around the world. So there'll be people from all over the place turning in. For those of you on Twitter, there will be a range of Twitter handles which will pop heavily, hopefully. Tweet madly and let's kind of create a Twitter storm about tonight's conversation. So look, putting on all these important talks and engagement conversations would not be achieved just with sort of ratepayer money alone. This is a big program, and I just want to make a particular call out and shout out to the private sector teams and organisations that get behind us every single time to help us bring these to you. And so particularly our sort of overall sponsors, who are Reid. Would you mind putting your hands together to thank them very much? Reid have been with us for many, many years, and it's great to have them supporting us continually. Another big thank you to some great friends who are developing up a new relationship with us as programme sponsors. So they are Brookfield Lawyers, Boffa Miskell, Architecture Designers of New Zealand, the New Zealand Institute of Architects, the New Zealand Planning Institute, and the New Zealand Green Building Council. Some really critical players and actors within the urban development realm. So thank you to all of you for your ongoing support. So in terms of the agenda for tonight, what we'd like to do, what we're looking forward to this evening. The format will be a presentation by Edith, and then followed by a panel discussion with our panellists, of course. In between that, what we'll do is, as Edith sits down after her presentation, what we'll do is we'll ask both John and Adrian to speak a little bit about the projects they've been working in, the issues that their challenges and issues that they are facing within their particular areas of work, and perhaps reflect upon the presentation they've heard from Edith. So it'll be a way to introduce them to you, but also to stimulate the discussion. And then I'll be taking some questions from the floor once the panel discussion has ensued and finished. And the Auckland Conversations feed, so that's the hashtag AKL Conversations feed, that will be monitored throughout the whole night, and we'll be able to hopefully bring some questions through that process too. So if there's opportunity, we will do that. So look, on to tonight's main course, if she's ready and willing. Our special guest tonight is Edith Sue Chen. She is the fantastic planning director for the Borough of Manhattan in New York City. We've had a long and a new and blossoming relationship with New York City, and that song was for you, to welcome you here. The last sort of New York guest we had was Jeanette Sadiq Khan, who was here for a week and involved in lots of conversations like you have been over the last 24 hours and will be tomorrow as well. And we've got a really growing relationship there, not only at officer level, but also with at the senior sort of mayoral level, which has to develop over time. So it's great to have you here as well and to continue that program. So look, since 2008, Edith has led the office which has been responsible for planning, zoning, and urban design, public space management, and land use related activities across the New York Borough of Manhattan. She is a key advisor to the New York Planning Commissioner and provides guidance to the Deputy Mayor in terms of housing and economic development issues. Edith specializes in incentivizing the private sector to deliver public amenities such as public space and transit improvements. Edith has lectured at the Harvard School of Design, where she also graduated with a master's in urban planning. She's also a frequent panelist at urban development and design conferences. There's a much longer CV, but we'll get into the conversation and expose that as we discuss it through the session. So I'd like you to put your hands together and welcome Edith.